Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Sporting160EN podcast. After a very tough result, we're here to talk about our Sporting. But let's get to the panel. Start off with my very good friend, Steph. How you doing, bro?
I'm not doing too good because we lost against the last team in our tabling in Portugal, standings in Portugal, which is embarrassing. There's no other way to put it, but it's embarrassing. If we want to be champions of Portugal and we lost against Portimonense, uma marca de tabaco, uma marca de vinho, uma marca de presunto, or marca
by fucking McDonald's,
or whatever. It's embarrassing. 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 We lost against the last team of the standing in Portugal. É uma puta de uma vergonha. Uma puta de uma vergonha. Portanto, that's all I gotta say. Losing today after Benfica won against Porto, we could have gained ground against Portimonense. I mean, Braga and Porto. I know Portimonense. Never mind. I know. It's an embarrassment. We play like a second division team. I thought we were Beira-Mar, that's Distrital da Aveiro.
Hey, no Beira-Mar.
Opa, puta que pariu. Que puta de vergonha, meu, hoje. I was watching the game and I had a bucket next to me puking. Pronto, não posso ser mais nada. All I can say is hoje uma puta de vergonha de perder contra o Portimonense com vale uma merda, que é uma marca de tabaco, uma marca de vinho, uma marca de termoço, uma marca de polvilhos, uma marca de vegetais. É uma puta de uma vergonha. Pronto,
all right.
That's all I gotta say, bro. Uma puta de uma vergonha.
And that's the end of our podcast today. That's it. I'm kidding.
Puta de vergonha.
That's all you guys need to know today. That's how we feel.
Exactly. And we also, of course, here with Nando here. Nando, how are you doing, bro?
I think Steph made that perfectly. I don't know if I can add anything else other than like we could have gained ground on Portimonense. You know what I mean? We could have distanced ourselves from last place a little better, but we didn't. We fucked that up.
Puta de vergonha.
Yeah, dude. It's I was so angry that I decided I needed to call my mom, who doesn't really care about soccer, just to vent to her. And she's sitting there being like, "Come on, man. You know I really don't care about soccer like that." I was like, "No, you're gonna listen to this."
I need somebody to talk to
right now. My girlfriend was like checking out because she's like, "Look, bro, I can't help you with this one. It's bad. It hurts. It sucks. It's embarrassing, and it's almost like you can only laugh at it." So yeah, let's get started, man.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we joke about it now, but we're only laughing or else we're crying. You know what I mean? It's
yeah, exactly.
Man, I've been battling the flu this past couple of days, but I don't think I've ever felt so sick in my life until after this game. Anyways. Let's just jump into it. We'll talk about the game today, right now, about Portimonense, and then later on in the podcast, we'll talk about our Europa League game where we miraculously came back in the last 4 minutes against Vorskla, and then we'll briefly touch on the Marítimo game that we haven't touched on yet since our last podcast. But anyways, Steph, since you put it so elaborately, tell me, man, what went wrong today? Why did we go out there and play the way we did after a Clásico and a rival dropping 3 points?
It's very simple. Our coach sucks. We would have been better, and I mean this in a good way, with Paulinho, our roupeiro, but he's been in Sporting forever. And I mean, no disrespect to him, but I think he knows more about tactics, about the team itself than José Peseiro. José Peseiro, he's basically have the testicles, the tomates, the corones, le tomato, como se diz em francês. Em chinês diz chinchanchon.
Epa, és bom com a língua.
Meu, I'm trilingual, bro. I'm pissed because today we lost against the very last of the Portuguese league. The very last. And I'm going to say it like 20 times today on this podcast. And it's embarrassing. I don't care what Sporting 160, João, Pedro Zé, Peter says, how they paint it, and the other podcasts, and the Sporting TV, and José Peseiro. I'm saying it as a Sporting fan from the United States of America, from Delaware, that pays his quotas, that pays his Sporting newspaper, that loves his Sporting, and today was an embarrassment. I'm embarrassed by our team. The way we played, the way we allowed Portimonense to diminish us. I thought Portimonense at one point they were Tottenham because they have the same jerseys. I thought, hey, a gente está a jogar contra o Tottenham do Premier League. Certeza absoluta. That's what I thought. But then I realized, não, lá diz Portimonense. Portimonense, o presidente que deu uma cabeçada no Rafael Barbosa.
Yeah.
So instead of coming with adventures with hey, we're gonna defend Rafael Barbosa because of what the president did of Portimonense, of what the Portimonense did sub-23 to our sub-23 team, we fucking embarrassed ourselves and we lost 4-2. So my question is, why are we paying so much money to Acuna, to El Patron, to all these players we have in our team? We pay them a good salary, good $3 million, $1.5 million, $2 million. Why are we paying them so much money if they can produce? Don't give me this shit that we just played on the Europa League. Isso é uma desculpa desfarrapada. That's a poor excuse. Because you know what? Benfica just did it and they won against Porto. And Porto just did it and they just lost 1-0 and they could have tied the game. But Benfica did play better. I watched the whole game. So don't use that as an excuse because we didn't play against Porto. We didn't play against Benfica. We played against Portimonense, the last team of the Portuguese league. And to me, it's an embarrassment, a fucking embarrassment. I'm ashamed that we lost today against Portimonense. I am proud to be a Sportingista, sócio paga as suas cotas em dia, and I pay for my Sporting newspaper. But I'm embarrassed that we lost against the Portimonense. As a team, this team should be ashamed of themselves. They shouldn't be allowed to wear the Sporting jersey. Today was an embarrassment. And I'm not going to talk about the game because I can't even talk about the game because it was so disgusting. There's not best player or the worst players. I only have a worst player, the whole fucking team. The whole fucking team was a worst player. I don't have a best player. Giovanni was a disgrace. He just proved it to me. He can only play from the bench. He can't play as a starter. And if I have to say the best player of the Sporting team was maybe Quats.
Yeah, which is crazy because we suffered 4 goals and he's still our best player. It's just proof to more to show on how bad everybody else was,
Ritovski foi uma vergonha. Foi uma vergonha. I miss Piccini. And I don't care what everybody else says. I know Sporting 160, our mother headquarters, love to sugarcoat it and downplay it, but I'm not going to downplay it. Our team was an embarrassment. Uma vergonha total. Não há nada que a gente possa dizer para defender a nossa equipa. Foi uma vergonha total. And that's all I got to say because I only have negative things to say.
Yeah. All right, Nando, give me your take on this game.
Yeah.
What did you think of
it? Where to start, right? I mean, everybody played like garbage. Steph, I would probably agree with you that probably Kowats was our better player, and he played like shit. He played one of his worst games I've ever seen Sporting play. He seemed slow on the ball. He seemed just uninterested, and yet he still probably played the better match on our side. But overall, man, it's so bad. It's so sad. It's heartbreaking. It's disheartening. It's infuriating. When you're a fan of a club like, we all here have loved this team, and I'm 28 years old, man, and I've been loving this team since probably like 5 or 6. Because any younger than that, I honestly don't remember. But to get to the point now where I'm so used to Sporting fucking up after a Porto Benfica Porto where we can take advantage of a tie or somebody winning, and somebody losing and being so used to it that I tell myself like, yeah, they're going to figure out a way to tie this game or possibly even lose. That's not normal. It's not normal for Sporting to consistently do that. It's also not normal for Sporting to come out so flat, win a game where they have everything to put themselves back up front with the guys, like 1 point out, and go at it. And they can't do it. They can't figure out how to do it. I'm looking at like just the statistics of the game, and I don't know if at any point we're going to talk about that a little bit, but just to put in perspective, we're playing the last place team in Portugal, and we had 17 shots. They had 12. That's embarrassing. No, 5-shot difference. They had 6 shots on target. We had 5. All right. Possession 57-43 for Sporting against the last place team. That's also embarrassing. We need to be dominating from start to finish. And that's not to be rude and disrespectful against Portimonense. I mean, they are a nobody. But in terms of like, okay, I know you guys are going to play a good game at some point. That's just not acceptable. The 5-5s on corner. They had almost better pass accuracy than us. Overall, it was just a bad game. Like, it's one thing to lose a game against a team that's lower on the table and say, you know, we just had bad luck. A bola no entrou. Those balls hit the post. The goalie was playing his best game. And it's another thing to just be whacked. So just be outplayed, outperformed, outcoached, and simply outmotivated from the beginning. From start to finish, Portimonense came in with the desire to play well and to win. And Sporting came in with the desire to just kind of get their paycheck and go home. And if they win, they win. And if they don't, they don't. That's the problem with this Sporting team. And that's the problem about the culture at Sporting, and has been the culture at Sporting over the past decade or so, give or take a few years. And we can touch up on that later, but it's embarrassing. It's sad. It's frustrating. There's no other adjectives to describe the performance. And to see our coach consistently, I guess the thing that gets me most riled up and the thing that pisses me off the most is we can't just play with a team week to week consistently so that these players can at least get in rhythm and these players can at least start to get used to each other. It's almost like as if, you know, at the beginning of the year, we would say, hey, our team didn't really have a preseason. But it's almost like now like Zero is turning the season into the preseason. I mean, I'm just looking at the lineups against Vorskla for the Europa League, and I'm looking at our lineup today. And it's just the mudanças, the tactic changes, who comes in, who starts, why. There's no rhyme or reason. And Giovanni Cabral is not a starter right now. It got to his head way too fast, way too soon. He's not a starter. He needs to get back on that bench. God damn it, man. There's so much to be said about it. And you know, I don't want to drag this on to start the podcast off, but it pisses me off, man. I'm pissed off.
Yeah, and I agree exactly with both of you said. My you know, before I get in and rip Zaydu a new one, and maybe the ones that maybe not so much Verandas as of yet, but more the ones that were taking care of the club just before he came in. I just want to say, you know, a big thing that really pissed me off today was near post finishes 3 times against 2 different goalies. And then on the 4th goal, Renan does not fucking run up to try to you know, break down this, to not show so much space of the net. So what's his name? Was it Nakajima that scored the 4th one? Or yeah. João Carlos, sorry.
No.
João Carlos scored the 4th goal. The first one, Ristovski's out of place. Coates has to, you know, man track the guy.
Again.
Yeah, again out of place. You know, it goes through Coates' legs. Okay, maybe bad. You can say bad defending there, but Coates is really following the ball. How that beats Salah in the first post, unbelievable. Second goal again, Nakajima gets a shot near post because again, Coates gets pulled out wide because of Ristovski. Nakajima gets a shot near post. Salah does not get it. And I know he hit his face on the post, and I hope he's all right, and I hope he's conscious and he didn't get hurt too much. And if that's the case, like, I don't seem so much of an asshole, but it's kind of bem feita because, buddy, like, minimum get your fucking near post covered. How these goals go in near post are beyond me. And then Hernan, the same thing, near fucking post. What are you guys fucking training for? I'm not gonna act like I've seen every single fucking Viviano game. but I've seen a few from my time of watching soccer. I don't think Viviano would suffer that many near post fucking goals. What's going on with him? And I don't know. And Sporting needs to fucking come out and say whether he's injured or not, because it's getting to a point where it's unbelievable right now. Unbelievable. And then again on the fourth goal, Renan just stays there. There's no defender on the guy, and one of them are just basically jogging back. André Pinto is not sprinting as hard as I'd want him to see. And then Renan, out of everything to put the cherry on top of the cake to make everything worse, Renan stays in his fucking place. Like when you were taught as a kid, do you not know run up a bit so you close down the space so he doesn't have such a fucking big gap to shoot at? Come on, it's simple fucking things. And then it goes back to what I've been saying week in, week out. No idea within the game. I enjoy, listen, Portimonense, Chaves, they move the ball way better than we can ever imagine to. That fucking Chaves goal last week.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
Because they have tactics. They have an idea of the fucking game. They don't just fucking rely on individual talent.
But what else? What else?
They have coragem, bro.
No, they have a good fucking manager. They have a manager with fucking ideas.
We allowed them. Because if our team doesn't allow them, they won't do it. But o Sporting, o Peseiro, because he's a big push, grande corner, he allows them. Because the tactic is using of, vamos esperar jogar em contra-ataque, não resulta. Are we Sporting? or are we Santa Clara or Feirense? We Sporting from Portugal.
That's exactly my point.
Either we dominate the game and we take control of the game and we do whatever we want, and then they counterattack. But we did the opposite. We let them dictate the game and we playing counterattack. We play like pussies.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. We lose 4-2. Não há nada mais fácil de dizer. A gente está a jogar com uma equipa de segunda divisão. We're not playing as the big three. O Benfica terá Guanes, fãs, Coegans, Porto, não venham lá com Valtes e Tupeiras, nem o caralho. O Benfica jogou bem e ganhou bem. O Porto pode chorar o que quiser. Sporting today had an opportunity to gain ground on Porto and Braga, and we fucked it up.
Keep in mind that, and we're going to get to this game in a second, but keep in mind that the way Sporting approached both the Europa League game and this game are identical. Literally in both mentality and in tactics. It's literally like they expected, because these teams are nobodies or because this team's in last place, that we're just going to show up and simply win.
Yep.
And it's bullshit.
Yeah. Maybe we don't have such a good team.
Yeah. And no, I don't think it's that, because like I was saying, I look at teams like Chaves. I look at even today Portimonense. I look at these teams and I see them, having some sort of idea of game, like moving the ball well, keeping control of possession, not playing just sideways passes to hold possession, playing the ball forward, laying it back to the other guy, doing, what's necessary to push through and break down a defense. I look at Sporting and I look at when we win games, I don't see that. I see individual talent breaking us out of these games. So I don't think the talent is so much in question, because as bad as Bruno Fernandes has been this season, there's no denying he's a talented kid. Jovan, he's if it hasn't been for Jovan, how many points would Sporting realistically have? That's not anything tactically. That's a player that goes in and just says, "Hey, do what you got to do to fucking get us a goal." And that's what he does. And today he couldn't because he was a starter. But hey, Nani came in the game and he was a bit more effective. It's certain things that, and just to finish my point, it's certain things that it's driving me nuts, because Peseiro has no idea. It doesn't show no idea, no confused. Tactics, no nothing. It's entra no jogo e resolve por nós. And it was just that when even in Ukraine, it was that.
There's no evolution. If Sporting started slow and then got better and better, that's something I could work with Peseiro. But there's no evolution. Sporting is not evolving. O Peseiro is not making the team play better. Us Sportingistas We are demanding.
Hey guys, listen to this.
But
This
at
is
the
what-
let me finish.
Sorry,
But at
buddy.
the same time, we understanding. If our team starts slow and gets better, then okay, the coach is catching up on hey, this player could be working better playing the first half as a starter, like you Giovanni. Today he started again. But he did that a few games ago and didn't work out. Giovanni today as a starter, he sucked. So maybe Nani should have started and Giovanni should have coming in the second half. The reason why I'm saying that is because Giovanni is still a young player.
Yeah.
So his speed looks better when the players are tired in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And when he starts as a starter in the second half, he's also tired. And he showed it in second half against Portimonense. Portimonense, they have nothing to lose. All the players want to prove themselves. Eu quero jogar pelo Sporting. Eu quero jogar pelo Benfica. Eu quero jogar pelo Porto. And they're going to give it all. But our players, they play, eu jogo pelo Sporting de Portugal e só preciso jogar a 50%. But that's the wrong approach. And that's what they showed today.
I don't even think, and to jump on that, man, I think that the vast majority of these players, especially after what just occurred after Alcochete, I don't even think that these players who attacked Alcochete over the season, right?
It has nothing to do with that.
No, but what I'm saying is, my point is that I don't even think that these players play for Sporting Clube Portugal. They don't play com amor à camisola. They don't play com amor à camisola. Eles jogam por si próprios.
Hoje não.
Eles jogam por si próprios, man. Look, o Bruno Fernandes, after the game, says o Portimonense teve mais alma.
Alma, yeah.
Que vergonha, meu. If you can admit that the other team... Mas porque
é verdade, Fernando. É verdade. Isto é um statement do Century. Que vergonha do caralho admitir isso.
Yeah.
Like, how can you sit there and actually go into the press conference after the game and say, our opposing team had more passion than us? Why didn't you have more passion?
Exactly. That's my question.
What this?
Yeah.
Epá, eu fiquei com os colhões trilhados na porta. É sério. I'm telling you, today I didn't want to do this podcast, but then he was like, let's do it. And he kind of convinced me, and I'm pissed. Mas caralho, antes preferi tocar uma punheta.
Yeah.
But it would be like one of those slow, like depressed ones. So
Como à esquerda.
Yeah. And another thing, I don't know if you guys remember back in the summer, we were linked with Jackson Martinez. And we didn't want him. And I was one of them, one of the people that also didn't want him because, he didn't play a lot. But I look at the little appearances Diaby had, and I look at Jackson Martinez today and his other games in Portimonense. The money we wasted on Diaby maybe would have been better off spent on Jackson Martinez.
Bro,
you know?
you think Portimonense is paying his salary? There's no way. Portimonense can't afford to pay like a 1% of his salary. That if Sporting was smart, they could have had Jackson Martinez, and there's no doubt in my mind that he would have performed better at Sporting. He would have been more, actually, probably even way more motivated to perform at Sporting, to give it to Porto and everything else. Instead, we spend money to bring in a guy who plays. What were we excited that he got a full 10 minutes coming in from the second half, Diaby today?
Well, it's not his fault, but
again, it's so out of. We're losing, and it's always like this. We're losing. Peseiro puts on an attacker or puts on a striker like Diaby last 10 to 5 minutes. It's not. Epa, estamos a perder. 70 minutos, okay, Diaby, anda lá, tenta resolver o jogo. What can Diaby do in 10 fucking minutes?
But now, the thing is, Diaby played the whole game against the Ukrainian team, and he didn't show
subbed
much.
off.
Yeah,
and that's also my point. Jogou pouco. Eu vejo o Jackson Martinez hoje e, comparado aos dois, from the little I've seen of Diaby and what I know Jackson can do, but the little I've seen of him this season, come on, how do they have better strikers than us?
The problem I see, it's Sporting midfield and defense. They have no personality. Ou cortas ou não cortas, caralho. Ou estás comendo ou não estás. Ou vais ou lança ou não vais. I saw Portimonense playing football. They were playing football. They were playing great tricks on them, and vai a bola e parece que estão a jogar voleibol. E vai a bola para o outro, e vai a bola para o outro, e passa a bola e é golo. And our defensive midfield, they're not giving the 50-50% balls. They're not going to those balls. They're playing afraid. They're playing that I don't want to get hurt because I am a professional player. And when you play with that mentality, hey, I don't want to get hurt because I'm a professional player, then they score on you. O Portimonense não jogou. I'm going to play because I'm a professional player, but I'm going to play 100%. And that's what they showed today. I am a professional player, but I am going to play 100%. But our players, eles jogaram com pantufas. Oi, esta bola não. Oh, cara, isso vai me doer. Eu não vou jogar esta bola, cara. Isso não. Eu sou brinca na areia. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
So I would rather play with players like from the youth. They're gonna go 100% to their play than our players. They play on a 50-50 ball like they were playing a 25% ball. And that's what I saw for our Sporting players, and that's why we suffered 4 goals. Eles jogaram que nem uns conas, que nem uns bichanas. Mais nada. Não há outra razão de falar. Eu não quero saber que as pessoas não gostam de mim ou se não gostam, não sei mais o quê. The truth is, we play like pussies. And when we play like pussies, we lose 4-2 against o último classificado, Portugal, 4-2 na peirinha e mais nada.
Yep. Amen.
Yep. Yeah, another frustrating thing that I said during the match that really pissed me off too is Bataglia's performances lately. Honestly, as much as we rip Petrovic, and I think I agree with, I think most of the sentiment here is Petrovic isn't a player for Sporting, but Petrovic has been playing much better than Bataglia, and you know who's been better than both of them together at Braga? João Palhinha.
Claro.
And it's beyond me. It's beyond me. Bataglia is not good on the ball. Defending, at least with William, he was all right last season because you know what? He would defend the ball, pass it to William, and then William would have the ability to distribute it. This season, he can't defend it, and he can't even give the ball back to Gudeli to see if Gudeli can do the same role as William. Petrovic, when he's played, certain games he's been bad, but I think the last game he played was in Ukraine. Hey, not bad. Compared to what Bataglia's been doing, I'd rather have Petrovic at this moment. And that's the saddest thing I can say. That's so sad for me to say. I'd rather have Petrovic than Bataglia right now because they're both right now garbage.
And don't forget, guys, we still have to deal with our left back problem, and we have Coentron playing out of his mind again with Riwav, and we got a guy over there called Gelson Dalla playing out of his mind all season that we, for some reason, let go.
Yep. And I gotta say something. I'm gonna defend Bataglia a little bit. Bataglia just came off an injury. So if I'm the coach of Sporting Clube de Portugal, fundado em 1906, que ganhou 22 campeonatos, 16 taças de Portugal, 8 taças de Portugal e uma taça da Liga e uma taça das taças, I would say, Bataglia, I'm not going to play you because you're out of rhythm. So Petrovic's going to play. Mm-hmm. That's called common sense in America, of the United States of America, with 50 states and one Commonwealth, which is Puerto Rico. And that.
And I can also say in Canada, it's the same thing. Go on. Common sense here in Canada too, man.
What drives me nuts is burro do caralho como peseiro. He plays Bataglia when he's out of rhythm. So he's setting him up for failure. He failed today, not because of his own fault, but because he was out of rhythm. It's like playing Macho today instead of Andre Pinto. Macho, if he would have come in the game today, he would have been out of rhythm. So you got to give him some slack and give him like Bas Dost. If he comes back today, he would have been out of rhythm. So you got to give him a little bit more time. So Bataglia, as much as I want to criticize him, I don't think it was his fault because he played him too soon. He should have played him in the next game because now we're going to have a little break. It's embarrassing that we didn't win against Portimonense in Algarve because we have a better team. We have a way better budget, the triple, the quadruple, and we lost against a shitty team. Portimonense is nothing. It's a shitty team. They might be relegated to the second division next year.
I don't think so because they have good players.
You don't
but
think so?
nonetheless,
Okay, you don't think so?
Sporting.
But it's a
Nada
possibility,
comprado
am I right? It's a possibility.
No, for sure.
Claro. We shouldn't lose against them. When we lose against a shitty team like that, I don't give a shit if Sportimonense fans get upset at me. I don't even know them. They'll never know me. You know, it's like that girl from Ronaldo that she was raped 9 years later. But
it's like, fuck, man. It's like going back to the whole, like, what the hell did we expect or could we expect when we brought in Peseiro? I'm looking at his managerial statistics just to, like, try to make a point here. His career totals, and I'm pretty sure this is accurate. I'm kind of checking across the board. He has a 46.67 win percentage, meaning he loses more than he wins.
We would be better off with Nuno Dias.
Meu amigo, ele é loser.
You know who's Nuno Dias?
Yeah.
Who is he?
O Nuno Dias, o que era o gajo do... Não era o que treinava a equipa B?
Não. É do futsal, caralho.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I got confused with the...
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm into everything that's sporting, like, and ball.
Yeah. He's the coach of the futsal team.
Yeah,
right.
Caneiras, volleyball, Silva, and so on.
Yeah.
O Nuno Dias é o treinador do futsal Sporting. Okay. We won 3 years in a row. We were vice champions of the European Championship. And this guy knows more tactics than Peseiro. O Peseiro, he knows. I was defending him at the beginning, but now I have given up because we lost against a merda de Portimonense. Não vale uma merda. Não vale uma merda. É uma marca de tabaco. É uma marca de vinho verde. And we lost against them. That's embarrassing to me. My wife today, she was all happy because a merda de Benfica ganhou 1-0 ao fucking futebol com o Porto, os da fruta. And today we lost com o Portimonense lá do Algarve, que nem sabe escrever Portimonense corretamente. Por amor de Deus, meu. Eu estou-te desapontado, tu nem sabes.
So there's a little José Pereira, a good friend of ours, especially on Twitter. Shout out to him. He's José Pereira. Zé Pereira.
É o Zé Pereira. Yeah, eu conheço o gajo. O gajo tem
he's saying we all know Peseiro is a bridge manager. Piling this on him is like beating a dead animal to death. What do you guys take on that? Because I actually sort of agree with him in a sense where it is kind of harsh because we all know that the only way Peseiro would keep his job for next season is if he won us the league. But with that being said, don't you think that he still coaches, in my opinion at least. You guys chime in if you want, or if you feel I'm wrong or right or want to add something. In my opinion, it's he's the coach of Sporting right now, and he brings zero ideas. So we have to be frustrated with him because this is really all on him. If he is which he is a bridge manager, I hope, and this is kind of where I want to take the conversation next to is these next 2 weeks of international break. I really hope that Varandas is looking at the options out there because there are a lot, whether they have a club or don't have a club, and consider this finally it's enough and say, you know what, Peseiro, thank you. I understand the predicament you were put in, but it's time to leave Sporting because enough is enough, and we're still here, and we're gonna try to salvage the season because it is still a young season, but it's already 2 losses in the Liga NOS and Liga Portugal. 2 losses may already be too much. What do you guys have to say to that? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm right? What do you think of that?
I'll go first. Okay, so first of all, do me a favor. Send the link to Zé Pereira and tell him to call us.
Okay.
Zé,
I hope you're ready to come on, buddy.
Yeah, send him the link on via DM on Twitter and tell him to call us because, he's been one of our most outstanding fans in our podcast. So I would love him to be with us today. Second of all, yeah, exactly. Second of all, I couldn't agree with Zé Pereira even more. This is the time for Varandas to say enough is enough. I'm gonna pay you 6 months for free, but you know what? I'm gonna get a better coach called Paulo Sousa, which he just left the Chinese league and he's available. Do I think Paulo Sousa is better? Yes, I think he's better. He's younger. He's been in the Italian league, in Fiorentina. He's played at Sporting, Sporting quite well. I think he's better. So let's give it a chance to somebody else, better now than later. Peseiro is afraid. He makes his substitutions way too late. He creates too many dilemmas in the balneario with the players. It's way too much. So I don't think he's equipped for Sporting. After Peseiro leaves Sporting, the only thing he's going to coach is bullshit teams, lower tier teams. He was given a shot with Sporting, but losing against Portimonense today 4-2 and losing against Braga in Braga 1-0, it's too much. You know why? Because us Portuguese, yes, we are demanding, but we're not blind. Against Braga, we played afraid. Against Portimonense, we played like pussies. And that's all I'm going to say.
Nando, what do you take on that?
Man, he's got to go, bro. He has to go.
Hoje.
Peseiro has to go, bro.
Hoje à meia-noite.
Here's the thing. If what you guys just said and what we talked about a little bit before the podcast is so true. I mean, he's a bridge manager. He's a tapa buracos. He's a
pussy.
Yeah, he's a pussy. He's a hold you down until something better comes along, and he knows it. It's showing in his tactics. It's showing in his conferences. It's showing in his mindset. It's showing in how the players go about performing.
Did you listen to his conference?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I almost killed myself with
o gajo fala com aquela like
confiança.
Dude, let me pull up like one of the fucking quotes he said. In the meantime, I'm gonna keep talking about this shit. But like, okay, a derrota não nos passava pela cabeça. Okay, então okay, sure, não passava through our heads either. But you guys are playing like shit for the vast majority of the season, barring a really good half against Benfica, maybe a Taça da Liga performance. Overall, Sporting has not played well.
Tivemos sorte, caralho.
We have not played well this season.
At all.
That's the problem. We haven't played well at all. And like you said, and like Danny said, Varandas has the first true moment to show what kind of president he wants to be, what kind of president he is. If he's going to try to salvage this season, then he's going to take these weeks. He's going to talk to the guy and pay him his salary, and he's going to go out and get somebody. Like you said, Paulo Sousa, I'm totally fine with the Paulo Sousa. No problem with that. I'm even cool with the guy that what was Mourinho's adjunto?
Rui Faria.
Yeah, anybody that's going to come in with more ambition. Peseiro, I mean, fuck, this pisses me off. At what point did Sousa Sintra and that comissão the hold you down farts, bro, like it pisses me off. Like those old farts thought to themselves, Peseiro couldn't do it the first go round. Sure, he was unlucky a little bit, but he didn't get it done the first go round. It is what it is. Luck or no luck. Porto brought him in to do something. No fiz caralho. Porto let him go. Braga's brought him down to do something. He made Braga worse.
Yeah.
E foi para a Arábia Saudita e o caralho.
Bro, Guimarães has brought him in and he made them worse. And then you're going to say, mas a segunda vez é de vez. A segunda vez temos aqui gajo falarinho.
I'd rather, as a Brit manager, be Augusto Inácio, to be honest.
Anyway. Yeah, agreed.
We have a guest here on the podcast right now. Zé, how you doing, bro?
Not too good. I just scarfed a frozen pizza because that's how I feel right now.
So talk us through, bro. What do you think of this Peseiro situation? Are we going too hard on him, or how do you feel, man?
Well, look, I mean, he's a bridge manager, right? Obviously, we already said that. I think his contract is only for 1 year. So clearly the board felt he was only a bridge manager if you're only offering him a 1 year deal. Now, look, today was bad. So is some of that his fault? I mean, if to say it's his fault, there's got to be some criticism of the starting 11, the way they played, individual performances. That's certainly on him. When the substitutes came on, was the player that went in and that came out. Was that the correct call? Was the timing correct? Unfortunately, the second half I didn't watch because I was at the back of the bar at my local PT club drinking my feelings with my friend who's a Portista who was drinking his feelings too. And look, we're what? 2 games now behind the top of the table. We're 7 weeks in. It's still early. You know, let's give it some time. It's all this that happened in the summer, and with him being inserted into the position without his input on the lineup, the way the summer happened, you got to give him some slack. There's some criticism to have, of course, but if they lose their next league game or if they get eliminated in the Taça de Portugal early and they start a tailspin, then yeah, you nip it in the bud. He's a 1-year manager, get him out, and you get another Liga manager in there to try to salvage the season. But that's the way I feel. I mean, I didn't want him to start off with because I'm still mad at him for 2005, the way that year ended. And he's just been a bicycle his whole career. Everyone has had a ride on him.
Here's my fear with what you just said, and I agree with some of it, but my fear is if we allow him, right, to play, we were playing with fire. If you allow him to see how 1 more game goes or 2 more games go, if they go bad, you go from 4 points back to potentially 7 points back, maybe even 10 points back, depending on how bad they go. If they go well or well enough, you're still only 4 points back, and you're consistently in that. How good is this team going to be? Do we hope that Porto Benfica don't figure it out? Do we hope that Porto, Sergio Conceição's team doesn't put it together at any point? Do we hope that Rui Vitória's team also kind of struggles across the board? And then we're playing for fire because then we still don't know how good our team is because we know that they can't be any better than the best that we've seen. And I think we'd all agree that the best we've seen them this year was the first half against Benfica. And that's my fear. My fear is you're putting that pressure on him, that stress on him. He knows that at any moment, if he fails, he's gone. And then players pick up on that, and then players perform according to their manager's stress level. And I think with the break right now, I think it'd be, in my opinion, an ample opportunity, the perfect opportunity to do the research, take a week, find the coach, bring him in, and let him start to figure it out a week before, you know, they come back from international break. Because you're 4 points back. You're not out of the season. We still got to play these guys. We're very much in it. However, it could get bad really, really quickly. And I don't see it getting better really, really quickly.
But the thing with that is, who are you going to bring in now that's out there other than a manager in the league or outside of the league on a low team who wants to make that jump, who might not understand Portuguese football and how Sporting Clube de Portugal's roster works? That's going to be up through the winter time. I think
those are even the Faria guys. These are guys that want to probably make that jump and have that ambition.
And of course, I'm
glad to jump in, but Sporting is in 5th place. We have Rio Ave with 14, Football Club Porto with 15, which they have some leverage because Sérgio Conceição just won the Portuguese league, so they lost twice, but he has a lot of leverage because they just won the Portuguese league. O Braga, o Abel, whatever he comes up with, he's going to be a shining star. He's got 17 points with 2005 wins. And Rui Vitória, they just won 4 championships a couple years ago. So he's got nothing to lose either. Now, our coach, Peseiro, has a lot to lose. He has a lot to prove. And he has a very, very little leverage.
I don't even start to jump in, and I'll say this, and I'll let you. I just don't think he even fears that he has a lot to lose. I think Peseiro in the back of his mind has that
because he knows if he's not successful now, all he's going to be coaching for the upcoming years, it's lower tier teams.
But he was already doing that before.
But he was already doing that.
I know, but now this was his one shot to say, hey, I'm a good coach.
See, but he's also that.
I'm doing well Sporting. I deserve to be a coach of Arsenal, Tottenham, or Liverpool. If he fails now, o que ele vai fazer? He's going to train Allah Arbik in Saudi Arabia.
But if he fails now, he can always say, this was not my team, this was not my problem, and I had the courage to jump in when a lot of coaches said no.
And credit to him for
Vai tornar no beira-mar e os tareis e o Vista Alegre e o Águeda. That's it.
But that's the same problem you're going to run into if you do fire Peseiro now and bring in Paulo Sousa. Paulo Sousa is not the kind of manager you bring in halfway through a season. He's a summer signing, and then you allow him the summer to build a team in his eyes, the strategy and the tactics. You do that in the summertime, not now. Now you bring someone in just to try to save a Europa League spot, top 5 at this point. If you
or Taça da Liga, yeah.
So I agree with you on that, but I think even still, like, okay, this is all speculation, but we can easily be saying Paulo Sousa, Carlos Carvajal, and all of these guys, and then Varandas can approach them and they can easily tell us to fuck off. They don't want to come to Sporting, right? But what I'm saying is, let's say, they're down and they want to come to Sporting. Why take the rest of this year to take this bridge, have Peseiro instill, quote unquote, his ideas to the team? Why not have over this international break, get in a Paulo Sousa? It's clear we're not going to win this year, especially the way we're playing. Have a Paulo Sousa already start to bleed in his ideas.
Never say never.
Okay, for sure. But have a Paulo Sousa, for example, bleed in his ideas, get his players, into his style of play. And then, in January, have already a transfer window for him and get in the players he wants. Have his next season. And then by next season, maybe he'll have a bad season. Maybe he'll have a good season. And then we assess from there. A good season, he continues on. A bad season, okay, time to look maybe for another one. Okay, I think it's just for a bridge manager, and I agree that Peseiro is a bridge manager because we've seen him do it at Porto, and we even seen him do it at Braga because he left Porto, Sérgio Conceição came in and look at Porto now. He left Braga, Abel came in and look at Braga now. He can leave Sporting, we can have a coach come in, and hopefully we have that same trajectory as those two teams have. But for that to happen, I personally think, and this is the best time for it, Varandas has to sack Peseiro now, because it's not only the results, it's the way we're playing and the way we're just barely passing games is not good enough, in my opinion.
If you do that,
my question is to all of you, and I'm just going to ask the question, and I want Zed to start with answering my question. So, do you think the problem is the coach relating the message to our team, or was the team not responding to the coach? Zed, go ahead.
I mean, it's the manager's job to get the players prepared. Ultimately, the players have to perform. And I know that's cliche, but look, we know our goalkeeping situation is not too good. We lost a bunch of good players over the summer with what happened, and with the presidency really didn't do a good job replacing these big name players. I think it's split. Honestly, for me, it's split. Again, it's the manager's job to get the players prepared, the tactics. This is how I want to play. If we're losing in the 60th minute, this is first guy I go to. This is the next guy I go to. I mean, that there is fair criticism. If his substitutions suck and if they don't make sense, that's clearly on him. If the starting 11 doesn't make sense, that's on him. I mean, he did bench Jefferson and finally put Acuna, who's not a left back there. He started off with Petrovic and Misic, and now he got the Serbian. Is it the Serbian that came from China? He seems to be doing okay. You still got the Italian who's coming back from his injury. But Baz Dost is hurt. It's just a lot of changes it's just not consistent. It's frustrating.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my answer.
Okay, so anyway, we are in fifth place, which is embarrassing for Sporting Portugal, and I don't think Peseiro is going to last that long. And I think the next coach should be a well-known coach from the United States of America, Steph Teixeira.
Think about it this way. You get a guy, right? So the question was, are players no longer responding to his message, or what was the other part?
The other part was, do you think Peseiro doesn't have the character to lead such
Sure.
a big club?
And think about it this way: like players at this level, if not at even lesser levels, easier levels, second division, third division, so forth and so on, even coming out of high school, you know how to play soccer, you know how to play football, you know how to kick a ball, you know how to run, and you know how to mark a guy. You generally know how to do your job. No coach is going to tell you how to do that. You've learned how to do it. You know how to do it. At that point, coach's job is to teach you how to better position yourself, better pass the ball, have better tactics, how better to handle the pressure. So those players are not listening to his message, and those players will not listen to his message. When you this is, man, I hate saying this, like, not trying to be disrespectful to Portimonense, but they're shit. When you lose to Portimonense, okay, there's no reason why they should beat Sporting. Every once in a while, tie, whatever, bad day, bad game, a goalie was inspired, had his best performance. You beat Portimonense off of straight individual talent. You should beat Portimonense. When you lose to a Benfica or Porto, you can at least say, hey, you know what? We just don't have the talent to beat them. Maybe they just spend more money. Maybe they just have a better team overall. And we did, and we maxed out as high as we can go.
É uma puta de vergonha perder contra o Portimonense.
We lost because our players don't care.
You don't even know how upset I was because Benfica won today, and I was with my wife. She's Benfiquista, and my father-in-law is Benfiquista, and they were very happy because they were not even watching the game. We're having lunch at 12:30, and my sister-in-law. I'm going to tell you what happened, and I'm the one that hooks up my phone into the TV. I have the signal, and then I played the Benfica Porto because my sister-in-law, she doesn't give two shits about soccer. She doesn't really pay attention. So I put the signal for them to watch Benfica Porto. It's a whole Benfiquista house. I respect my father-in-law. I respect my wife because they like Benfica. They didn't want to watch the game. So until the game was tied, they couldn't give two shits. O Benfica marcou, com caralho, uma festa do caralho, parecia o São João. Foguetes e o caralho, vinho tinto, vinho verde, regiões, batata fritas e tudo. I was like, God damn. Then they won the game, o Benfica maior. Then here comes Sporting, and we start losing 4-2. They were next to me. What an embarrassment. We had a perfect timing to gain ground on Porto and Braga. And now we're in fifth place. And you know who's behind us? Uma filial do Benfica, o Santa Clara, just 2 points away. That's the embarrassment. My question to you guys is, what was the worst standing of Sporting of all times?
I don't know.
You don't know?
There's so many, caralho. I think 7th place is easily the worst. Oh, no, no. The worst was we were in 10th at one point, no?
No, 7th place.
Oh, we finished 7th, right.
We finished 7th. O Porto in 10th, Benfica in 6th. We flirting with 7th place again, the worst time ever in our standings, which is an embarrassment. Temos uma filial da merda de Benfica close to us. It's embarrassing. O Rio Ave está à nossa frente. O Braga, o Benfica B está à nossa frente.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's all I gotta say.
Bro, it sucks.
Eu tenho vergonha porque it's not only in football, but in hockey patins fomos enrabados 4-1.
It was one of our worst modalidades.
Yeah, in juniors fomos enrabados 3-0 por Benfica na nossa academia at home. In volleyball, we lost 3-0 against Benfica for the Super Cup. In ladies, we lost against Braga. So we've been losing every game against our rivals. And then we question ourselves, is it because Bruno Carvalho is gone? I mean, you question yourself a little bit. I mean, Varandas, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he's too fucking quiet. He's not doing much.
But wait, but hold on. There's more. The 71% are calm and happy and collected. Porque o Sporting perdendo is not their biggest problem. O Sporting perdendo is nothing to them. O Sporting looking good on TV and on camera com gajo com fatinho bem feito e uma personalidade not Trump de Portugal, no Facebooks or Twitters. O gajo é caladinho.
And you know what?
Bem feitinho.
And Benfica and Porto appreciates it.
Claro. O caralho do Luís Felipe Vieira, and we talked about this on the last podcast, said, I'm thankful that Sportingistas got rid of Bruno Carvalho because it made my job easier.
Claro que sim.
E os Sportingistas batem palmas.
Claro que sim.
Bro,
the most corrupt president in the whole history of Benfica, and Benfiquistas want to keep him.
Já enjoa, meu. It smells bad. It's disgusting. Now, again, not to say that Varandas isn't going to come through, but fuck it, bro. Right now, he hasn't said shit. Let's wait till tomorrow. Let's see what he says or what he doesn't say. But right now, it's very fucking concerning to see him sitting up in the tribuna do caralho do estádio do Portimonense, starting the game off with a guy who headbutted our player. And I'm sure Danny will get to this in a point, but guess who was still nice and collected sitting beside him? Mr. Now that I've done my job holding down the fort, I will not be at Sporting anymore. I have nothing to do with Sporting anymore. Let the new president do his job. Sousa Sintra still fucking sitting beside him and acting like as if he's still very much a part of the new administração.
E querem fazer uma homenagem ao homem.
Oh, meu, isso tá a brincar com quem? Who are you playing with, bro?
No, I mean, today losing against Portimonense was the last straw for me. It's a team that, to me, they battling to stay in the middle class of the division of the Portuguese league, not to be demoted, and we lose against them. We don't deserve to be champions of Portugal. I can accept losing against Braga. I'll accept that. We played well. They scored. It was a 50-50 game. I'll take that. I can accept losing against Benfica no Estádio da Luz, which we didn't, but we could have lost, but we didn't. Against Sport, I could accept that. But any other team, the way we lost today, it was an embarrassment to Sporting, sausage and the community.
Don't forget, we had a win come from the heavens for the Liga Europa. We were about to be embarrassed for the Liga Europa.
Yeah. Jose, o que diz da Liga Europa?
Well, I only heard the last 10 minutes because I work 6:30 to 5 through the week. Hey, good comeback. Mm-hmm. It seems like they shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. Maybe you guys can say that if any of you watched it. Like I said, I couldn't. But hey, whatever. We're 2 games in. We're tied with Arsenal. As long as we don't lose at this point in the Europa League, we should advance to the next round. And, that's always a good way to try to get those winter transfers if they can even get any or any that's worth putting in the starting 11. But we'll see at the end of the month. We play Arsenal. I think they're at home. So, hey, who says we can't? Who says we can't beat Arsenal at home? 1-0 or 2-1 or whatever, however that ends up.
Yeah. Hey man, and it would be the most typical thing for Sporting for us to be having this meltdown right now and Estamos fodidos and Sporting's this, Sporting's that. And then going to London and giving them 2-0. That would be the most typical Sporting. Because I even remember the year we finished 7th, if I'm not mistaken, we beat Benfica. And the week before, we lost I don't know who. So it would be the most typical thing. Like today was the most typical Sporting, where we can gain ground on our rivals and have a win today after a Clásico. The most typical Sporting thing to do is lose. The same way the most typical Sporting thing to do after a loss and after a meltdown from us fans is to go ahead and beat an Arsenal or something like that. So,
but let's look at things into perspective. Look at Manchester United. They won today yesterday 3-2 against Newcastle. Okay, so Mourinho is struggling, but he has a contract with MU until 2020. Am I correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. O Peseiro, he's got 6 more months. or maybe, okay, so today it's October, November, December. Okay, so technically 8 more months. So if Sporting cuts him now, and let's say he hires Zé Pereira, I'm just kidding, Zé, miss. Let's make believe. They have nothing much to lose. They hire another coach. Hey, vamos a essa. So we have the luxury of saying, Zé Pereira is not cutting it. Let's do it. Manchester United doesn't have that luxury because they will cost them millions of dollars, but we do. So, like you said, and I think Nandinho and Zé said, let's do it now before it's too late. Let's get another coach, and you never know. Sometimes another coach might bring a brand new practice scheme or new ideas, new message, and he might trigger the team to play better.
The last time that we ended the drought, okay, the year that Inácio won it all, Inácio did not start the season.
Quando é que foi?
Foi 99, 2000, meu.
Não, 2001, 2002.
Não, o primeiro ao fim de 18 anos foi com o Inácio, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sim, depois you're right.
Tô falando aquilo. So Inácio didn't start the season. Sporting let go of Materazzi or whatever that Italian guy was.
Italian, yeah.
And they let him go right around this time, maybe even a little later into the season, and hope for the best. And Inácio came in with a new mentality, a fresh perspective, and slowly but surely, the season, we won it.
Do you know what the big difference is between that team and this team? Two big differences, in my opinion. Peter Schmeichel and Alberto Acosta. Two players with balls. Who changed the face of that team. Alberto Acosta scored the goals. Peter Schmeichel kept them out of the net.
Even when he was hurt.
And that's something we don't have. We don't have that. Our goalie situation sucks. Our forwards, I like Freddie Montero, but his whole career, his biggest knock against him, he's not consistent.
No, he's not. He's a number 10.
Yeah, and you could tell that what's sad is that he's playing so well these last few games. And that's exactly it.
But he's not consistent.
10. He's not the striker.
I don't think he's a number 10. I think he's a false 9.
He's not consistent.
That's a 9.5, but that 9.5 is a kind of improvised.
Even in MLS, he wasn't a consistent forward. He'd have a couple weeks, he'd score a couple goals, and then go a month or two without scoring any. Then he goes a short period of scoring bunches, and then go on a drought again.
As of late, sorry to interrupt, just real quick. As of late, I think Freddie Montero has been exceptional for the team, not because he's been scoring goals, but because the team has been gelling more with him in the side. He's been able to stop the ball, pass it out in the wings, when the wings sort of bring it into the box, and maybe Montero's not at the end to finish it, but he's the one that maybe started off the play, or he's the one to fight for the ball on the corner of the field. Tunnel the guy, cross it to Rafinha crosses it to Giovanni. I think in that aspect, he provides us a lot more than just a goal scoring forward.
Montero, he's smaller, he's more mobile, so yeah, he can go out wide. He can come back. Bas Dost is a telephone pole. He's got one job: stay in the box and wait for the crosses. And we saw how awful that was towards the end of last season when that's all Sporting did. Get the ball wide, cross it, defender clears it. And at least with Freddie, the game's a little bit different. I think Sporting can play faster, but he can't play alone up top like that because he's going to have two defenders constantly marking him. I think Sporting needs to go to two forwards. If it's Bas Dost and Freddie up top and you go 4 in the midfielder, fine. That's going to occupy more defenders, but one defender with Freddie alone, I just don't.
I agree. I agree. I agree with that 100%. Yeah. It either has to be Bas Dost and Nani, because Nani he can no longer be a winger. Nani needs to play as a support of Bas Dost. If not Nani, then he has to be Montero. If not Montero, then he needs to be Diaby. But Montero cannot be the striker. I know he's been the striker lately because Bas Dost is hurt. I understand that. But then he's got no support. I mean, they've been playing como é que ele chama-se? O Fernando. Our number 8.
Bruno Fernando.
Bruno Fernando, thank
Fernandes.
you. Foda-se, estava-me a esquecer, comi muito queijo hoje. O Bruno Fernandes, he's been playing as the number 10. but he's not good in that position. And we've been suffering today. I mean, he plays at number 8, but he didn't produce what we were expecting.
Yeah.
And we
I,
lost against
I think he did all right
Portimonense,
today, though.
really ugly, and it was an embarrassment to us Sportinguistas. I'll admit it. To me, it was an embarrassment. O Portimonense estava com 4 points. Now they have 7 points. They in 13 plays because we lost against them, and we in 5th place behind Rio Ave and Porto and Sporting Braga, where we could have been in 3rd place behind Braga and Benfica by 1 point. And this game was to win, to be in the Champions League title race, and we lost, and it's an embarrassment. And me personally, as a Sportingista, I'm embarrassed, and I don't want to talk to Cynthia. I don't want to talk to Mariana. My good friends, Benfiquistas, I love them. They're really good friends of mine.
Sérgio, Timo.
Yeah, I mean, o Fumaças, he's a good friend of mine. O Benfica podcast, because that will embarrass me. And you know, today is an embarrassment to me because we lost not only in soccer, but in hockey patins, e
Yeah.
juniors, e volleyball. Puta de vergonha, meu.
Yeah, lost a lot. Anyways, guys, I think
We didn't
I don't
talk
think-
about the UEFA Cup.
yeah, we
And-
talked a little bit about it. I don't think
We
honestly,
won't
I
talk
think
much about it.
okay, if you guys want to talk about it quickly, we could. Steph, what did you think of or Nando, you haven't talked in a bit. What did you think of our miracle in Ukraine?
It sucked. It pissed me off. I don't want to. I don't like winning games like that. Like, I'm happy that we won, but like Cazette was saying, I was at work, had an earbud in, I was listening to the game, and we played like shit for the majority of the game. We played bad, and then suddenly Pizzeto decides to be like, okay, let's stop underestimating this team. Let's bring in a few starters and whatnot, and they kind of turn it around a little bit. But that one fell from the heavens. That one. It makes me feel bad because I, of course, as a Sportingista fanatico, it's a win and it makes me happy, and it allowed me to live and breathe a little bit better for the rest of my shift. But as a also Sporting fanatico, it pisses me off because that means that we didn't deserve that. We didn't play for that. You know, we didn't go out there and seek that win. That's just one of those games that ended up falling our way. And in my opinion, that carried over to today's game. That mentality and that strategy, that tactic, that whole like, let's see how well we can do individually and win games that way. Regardless, they won. Like Zé said, we're tied with Arsenal with 6 points in the group. Like we said before the season started, we better make it through this group. If we don't, I don't even want to talk about it for the rest of my life, how embarrassing that would be. But a win's a win, whatever. It happens. Yeah, that's all I can say about it. They won. Good.
Yeah, and I agree with some aspects of what you said. I'm just I disagree in the fact that I agree that definitely carried over. I just disagree that it didn't really piss me off because sometimes that's needed. Sometimes some teams, even though it happens to the best of teams, like it's not their day, things don't fall their way, and maybe they just play bad, but at the end, you just somehow, somewhere, some way, you find a way to win the game. Similar how Madrid did against us. I think now 2 or 3 years back in the Champions League. They didn't play well against us. We played all with Madrid, and then they maybe didn't deserve the 2-1. But at the end of the day, good teams, even on your bad day, you go out and you get those 2 goals and you get the 3 points, and that's all that matters. And for in that case, I wasn't too upset because at the end of the day, you know what, we didn't play well, but you know what, when it came to the end of the game, 2 goals in 4 minutes, 3 points, a tough or a long away trip, Safurda, like that, it felt like you said, it felt good. I didn't necessarily look at it too bad at the, we didn't play well, and because the shit happens, and we were also coming off of we beat Marítimo 2-0. Sorry, it wasn't the Braga. But nonetheless, shit happens, and sometimes, that's needed to build confidence. So yeah, that's how I really seen, just quickly to give my 2 cents on the Europa League game. It's good to go to to London and for these next 2 games to face Arsenal with 6 points. It gives us a bit of breathing room, even if we don't win either of our games against them. The 6 points is still a bit of a cushion, and we can still have that bit of advantage over the other 2 teams in the league and in our group. I mean, and then we just have to go to Azerbaijan, and then we face the Ukrainian team at home. So it's not too bad, and at least we got the 3 points against them. Steph, quickly, give me your 2 cents of the Europa League and how you've seen that last game.
I'm going to let Zed go first, and I want Zed to come back to our show because he does know a lot about our club. So Zed, go first.
Well, in regards to Europe, like I had mentioned earlier, couldn't watch the game. I had to listen to the last really 10 minutes of it on my app. I did see the video of Freddie's goal. I think that was the first goal that he scored. I mean, kudos to him being under pressure. I think he trapped the ball with his chest, or he received the ball on his chest. He trapped it, controlled it one more time with his foot, faked out another defender, if I remember, and just shot the ball past the goalie. And how many strikers around the world in this game would have completely messed up that moment? So, I mean, yeah, he has his criticisms when he's not consistent, but that was definitely a number 10 moment for him when he scored that goal. I mean, also negative towards the defender. I saw one of the defenders had stepped up and misjudged the trajectory of that cross. And hey, everything fell in place. That's how soccer goes sometimes. Today, that soccer gods, I guess we're getting punished for that. It's one of my favorite sayings in soccer is when you fail to score a goal in an empty netter or something like that, generally you're gonna give up the goal on the other end. It always seems to happen.
Yeah.
Karma just I don't know. I guess it got to us today.
It's how they say in Portuguese. Quem não marca, sofre.
If we can get a draw, hopefully in London at home against Arsenal, listen, I don't care if the EPL is the best league in the world, whatever. Whoever's coming to the Alvalade, I'm gonna expect Sporting to get the win. But if we can get a tie at least out of one of these 2 games and hopefully another win at home in the second half of the group stage, I mean, we should be good. But, I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch because, karma, again, I'm a believer in that. But I don't know. That's all I have to say about that with the Europa League.
Agreed. Steph, 2 cents.
Okay, so basically the Europa League, we got lucky to win the game in Ukraine. We did pull it off, which is phenomenal for a number of reasons. The number of reason is we were ranked 33. We jumped to 32. It's not significant, but we got to move up the ramps in the UEFA ranking. Also, we helped the Portuguese ranking. We ranked number 7 as a country, Portugal, and number 6 is Russia. So we slightly gained some ground against Russia. So having Sporting, Benfica, and Porto winning, which I'm a firm believer of that. I'm not the kind of Sportingista, and I know Zach can relate to me on that.
Yep.
That strives that Benfica, I want Benfica to lose all the time or Porto losing all the time. I'm not the kind of Sportingista. You can call me out of that little club. To me, I hate that. I think as a Portuguese person, I want Sporting to win in the international competitions. I want Benfica to win, and I want Porto to win, and I want Braga to win, and Guimarães and Belenenses and so on if they're involved in the international competitions. That's the way I think.
Yep.
Because if that's not the way you think, one of these days we're going to be in the 10th position in the UEFA ranking, which means that the champion of Portugal will have to go in the second playoffs of the Champions League, which would be an embarrassment. So if you want to keep the 7th ranking of the ranking as a country as Portugal, you have to I'm not saying, hey, Benfica marcou todos contentes. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if Benfica wins, you have to be able to say, hey, that was a good win because they won in a international level. If Porto wins, that was a good win, 1-0 away, and it's good for the Portuguese ranking. That's what I'm talking about. I don't jump with joy. Hey, Porto ganhou. No, I say, hey, that was a good win. A Portuguese team, which is good. So that's what I'm talking about. So in that aspect, it was a very successful round for the Portuguese teams. Um, uh, I have to give a shout out to our handball team. They went to Turkey. They won, which is now in first place of the Champions League of handball. We could talk about a lot of negative things, but let's talk about the positive things.
Yeah, I was actually just going to get into modalidades, but since you mentioned handball, another phenomenal goal from Carlos Juega. How he does these things, I don't get it.
Duas ratas, viste?
Yeah.
Duas ratinhas. I posted on our Twitter account. And Carlos Juegas is one of our followers, and we follow him too. Yeah. And I would like to thank him for that, because we don't have a lot of professional players following us. He's one of the three we have: him, Carline Baldwin, and a few players from the Go Ball. So thanks for that. But handball, hands down, they were phenomenal. Another team in our modalities, they've been playing great, and people don't give them credit. It's our females rugby team. They won the Supertaça, 37-0 against Agre de Coimbra, which hands down to them. They won a trophy for our club. It'll go to the museum. Another one was futsal, 11-0 against our opponent for Supertaça. And recently in ping pong, table tennis, they won against a source team, which is a Supertaça that will go into our museum as well. So I know we lost in volleyball. I know we lost in handball. I know we lost in other modalities.
Hockey as well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We lost Supertaça de Porto, I believe.
Sim, hockey em patins hoje 4-1.
Yeah.
But you know what? We lost in handball também contra o Benfica. Yeah. But we won against Benfica at home for the championship. So let's give value to the wins we win, and not so much because I see a couple people putting stuff together. Oh, a Supertaças que a gente perdeu. Yeah, what about the Supertaças we won? We won quite a few. Yeah. So let's not focus on the negative, but also on the positives. We're not going to win every game. That's a known fact. But the games we win, let's talk about that. And that's me as a Sportingista. Eu como Sportingista, I'm going to talk about the good things and the bad things. But I'm being realistic. We're not going to win every game. Yeah. The ladies, they won they lost the Supertaça against Sporting Braga. And that was one of the best games against Braga. But we lost it. But a couple games ago, we didn't play so well when we won. It was, it was meant to be. One of these days, we would have lost against Braga, and we lost last time. So with all that said, all I got to say is the biggest embarrassment for me was not our modalities, but it was losing against Portimonense no Algarve.
The way we lost it.
The way we lost it, which is a field with the same dimensions of José Estádio Alvalade. To me, it doesn't matter if you play at home or away. It's the same dimensions, the same measurements. It's how you play, the attitude you play with. It doesn't matter that you play com o jersey do Sporting Portugal. Se não dás ao litro, vais perder. We lost.
Beautiful. I think that was actually the perfect way to end it, giving up from the modalidades. Senão, we'll never be able to upload this to the other platforms for other listeners to be listening to this. But quickly, before we sign off, anything else anybody wants to say and get off their chest? Nando, you haven't spoken in a while. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, man. I think it's real quick, I think it's a little weird. It's a little shady that Sousa Sintra continues to be around the Sporting administration post elections. I'm not trying to sound like that pessimist guy who thinks that there's or brings up a conspiracy theory. However, the guy made his point very clear. At least he tried to, in saying that once the elections happened, that he would gracefully leave the scene. He did his job, and now it's Varanda's thing to do. However, he's consistently being seen around, and I'm reading other people's tweets about this, but he's consistently being seen around Alvalade. It's not the first game that he's been with Varandas since Varandas taken over in the Tribuna. And this is a guy who was Sporting's president, and after he left Sporting's presidency, his first go-around, we never heard anything else about him other than his beer company. So suddenly he gets a second kick at Sporting, and now he seems like he likes that spotlight. He likes his spot. I don't know, man. Something shade a mile. Something just doesn't seem right there. And I hope it's just me being paranoid. However, I've been reading the same sentiment from other people. I don't think he's helping Varandas. If anything, if let's say he's just giving advice, in quote, that's not letting Varandas create his own identity and letting Varandas do what he needs to do. So watching him in the Tribuna today, sitting near Varandas, seeing him the other day as well next to Antonio Salvador with Varandas, that kind of pisses me off, man. That's not your team. You're not the vice president. You did what you did. Great. Goodbye. Thanks. If you guys wanted to do that to Bruno Carvalho and did the same thing, now you can see yourself out the door as well. You did your job. Now let somebody else do theirs.
Okay, really fast. I forgot two things. With futsal, they qualify for the elite futsal cup. They won 5-0 today. And also the Iniciados won against Turil. And Juvenis also won. So congratulations to them. And our volleyball team in the first round of volleyball won 3-1 against Sporting Espinho, which is typically away at Sporting Espinho. A very difficult game. That's all.
Yeah. And thank you, Steph, for that, because this is Sporting Club Portugal, not Sporting Club de Futebol.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta show up. We gotta show love to all of our athletes.
Just one more thing. Carlos Ruega, watch the goal he scored against the Turkish team. Duas ratas. Epa, que golão. Go on Twitter, no Sporting Handball. Meu, que gol. Epa, é uma delícia. Yeah. I almost came.
Yeah. Listen, I wasn't really big on handball before maybe for the past few years, until I seen Carlos Ruega play. My God, I've started watching more and more games. Anyways, before we sign off, I want to say a special thank you to Zé Pereira. Not only for being,
mais vezes o Zé Pereira.
For sure.
Most definitely.
Sure.
Thanks for the
thank you for always interacting with us on Twitter, always interacting with us on the podcast. Thank you for joining halfway through. We really appreciate you, bro. And anything you want to say before we send this off?
Well, I just want to piggyback a little bit quickly what Steph was saying about the playing in Europe. The UEFA Cup and the Champions League. Yeah, I'm the same way. I've had plenty of fans from all the clubs telling me I'm a fake fan because I want Benfica to beat Juventus to qualify for the Europa League finals. And I just tell people, if you don't like my opinion, send it to me in writing. I'll make sure I'll get to it. And as far as our UEFA standings, I mean, looking at the coefficients, we're not going to drop because we're too far ahead. Too far. Yeah, we're too far ahead. But looking at the coefficients, next year Russia's actually, because 5 years ago they had a better season than we did. So next year we're actually going to drop a little bit farther, but Porto could do us a big favor in the next couple weeks, if you know what I mean. But besides that, like I said, just thanks for the invite. As some of you might know, I did my first podcast debut a few weeks ago with Azagias because I was asked to come on as the Sportingista. And as some of you also may know, this is my 5th season as a MLS beat writer for a very specific team.
Which one?
The New England Revolution. Although I will admit there hasn't been a whole lot for me or much of anything from anyone to say. We're just about done with the year, but it's always fun talking with other people other writers who watch the game.
Yeah.
Always fun talking with other people who watch it for fun for podcasts, because they're passionate, and it's always fun just interacting with other people. And sometimes it's good doing it verbally or audioly instead of 140 characters at a time or 280, whatever the limit is.
For sure.
So
And,
that's all
Danny,
I got.
hey Danny, do you want to talk about the Arsenal podcast?
I think we'll leave it to Twitter more, because I think we're gonna have those guys on when we face them. So I kind of still want to be. Well, I guess we sort of gave it away. I was thinking it was a bit of more of a surprise, but yeah, next podcast we may or may not, but more likely may have some North Londoners here on the podcast. Some diehard Arsenal fans have reached out to us. We won't say the podcast as of yet, but follow us on Twitter to follow all of that, because we're making big moves. Anyways, guys, thanks for coming on again. Another great podcast. Definitely cheered me up a bit after that disappointing loss today. Again, Zach, thank you for coming on. I know me and you, we have our debates on Twitter, but there's no denying you're a gran Sportingista, bro. I would never deny that from you, and anyone who thinks that is fucking stupid, meu.
Been a fan since the early 90s. I've seen a lot of shit.
You've seen it all, buddy.
I've seen it all.
But I hate to, and I'm guilty of that too. I hate to judge someone via Twitter or via Facebook or WhatsApp, because sometimes messages or Twitters are misleading.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining us on another 160 podcast. Thank you for everybody that interacted with us on the chat. I think this has definitely been the most messaged and the most interactive chat we've had, and the most watched we've had live, at least. Thank you very much, everybody. Keep following us on Twitter. Keep following the podcast. And yeah, thank you, guys.
Viva Zé Pereira.
Viva Zé Pereira, viva Steph, viva Nando, and viva
Peseiro.
Viva Rei Sacana. That's what I'm known as.
Viva Rei Sacana.
Viva Peseiro, uma merda.
Okay.
Later, guys. Later.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Viva